Hey team, hope everyone's doing well. Just checking with a hobby update. So the Wargamers Anonymous challenge for October and November was to paint a brigade. It took me till the start of November to actually pick something to do, and I figured I'd lean into the Nordvember idea. Spoiler alert, all the Vikings you can see in the background didn't get painted, but it did sort of hit up some 6th edition Warhammer Fantasy instead. What I'd originally been intending on doing was running a Norse army and a Warriors of Chaos army for the Warhammer's Army project, where the Norse army is a standalone army. Instead, what I did was get both armies that had already assembled, set aside everything that was Warhammer Armies project specific, and just painted the rest to work as a 6th edition Hordes of Chaos army. So with that in mind, first up I have a unit here of 20 Marauders with hand weapons and shield. Now for the entire, I guess, Norse component of this army, what I've done is painted just in the block colours. So for this army I primed in a Vallejo flesh colour. I don't remember the name of the spray paint I used, but it's whatever their standard pale flesh is. I try to keep things fairly simple with regard to paint colours when I do paint, so if I just move that back a bit. I think I managed to keep this down to about a dozen basic colours. So yellow ochre, brown sand, leather brown, pale blue grey, pastel blue, khaki, oily steel, deck tan, field blue and brass. So I think that was pretty much it for the full armies, other than just the painting on the horses. And once the unit was done, once that focuses, once this component of the army was done, it all got a brush down with Army Painter soft tone straight from the tin, with a little bit of mineral turpentine mixed into it just to thin it down a bit. And once that was set, I just brushed it on rather than doing dipping, because it gives you a lot more control over where the colour goes. Excuse me. Then once that was dry, everything got a matte varnish coat, just the Army Painter spray on matte varnish. Anyhow, that's the first group of warriors. Back in the tray. Next group was 20 Marauders with a full command and flails. These guys have all been picked up in eBay sales over the year and reconstructed. Well, I'm running out of spare parts now, so I think I'll have to stop that game. Plus second-hand armies are getting really expensive online. It's another unit of 20 Marauders with shields. That was flails. These guys have got the shields. Another block of 20 Marauders with hand weapon and shield, and you'll see some of these guys are actually not the official Games Workshop ones, they're avatars of war. So really, really nice models, and do fit quite well with the aesthetic of the Norse warriors. And another 20 warriors with hand weapon and shield. This is the Avatars of War banner, so you can see, it's the Avatars of War musician as well. So the advantage of having a couple of different groups is it just gives you that flexibility and a bit of differentiation in the commands. And this is a unit of 10 Norse horsemen. These will be fielded as 2 blocks of 5 with musician for the 6th edition. I've just got them based up together for the time being. I'm starting to run out of room here. This is, excuse me, flies everywhere. This is 20 Shield Maidens for the Warhammer Armies project version of the list. So when I'm running this as a 6th edition army, these will just be Marauders with hand, weapon and shield. These figures come from, just bear with me, it's Shield Wolf miniatures from Greece, I think. And these are lovely. These are one of my favourite kits. The kit comes with cloak options, and the warriors can either have sword and shield or crossbow. I've been meaning to get around to converting a unit of these with spears. I think they'd look pretty cool. So that's them anyhow. And then finally one more unit. Now for this unit, the front rank are essentially the characters I'll have in the Norse army. So going left to right, I believe it's Reaper, Shield Wolf Miniatures. That's the Games Workshop character model Wulfric the Wanderer, and here's a solid chunk of metal. I'm going to say Zealot Miniatures, and I believe that was Bombshell Miniatures. The second rank, the last 3 ranks are all the Oathmark Frostgrave range. So for the Warhammer Armies Project version, the first rank are Norse Berserkers, made from the I think this is called the Barbarian kit. And the second and third rank are, I can't remember the name of the flavor text, but essentially they're just archers for the army list. And these were made, if I can get this to focus, from the Frostgrave Warriors 1 and 2 box. There we go. So that's the Norse component. I might have to move this back a bit. This is a block of 20 older, oh no, these aren't the older sculpts. These are 20 Chaos Warriors with hand, weapon and shield. The way I did the Chaos Warriors for this army was everything got primed with, I can't remember the name of the paint, it's the Army Painter Silver effectively. Once that was dry, I gave it a couple of coats of a black ink through an airbrush just to try and give the armour some colour. And then again, it was using the same colours as before, just to brush on the detail colours. And when that was done, again, this lot got an ink wash, but I used the dark tone ink, brushed on. And again, once that was dry, a coat of the matte varnish sprayed over the top just to dull it back down. So these were very, very quick to paint by comparison. As you can see, not much to them as far as fiddly bits or colour differentiation is concerned. They're essentially armour, cloak, weapons, and picking out the bone details. So 20, this was the older warriors, who I've dubbed the unrankables, because it took me about 3/4 of an hour just to get them to fit in the movement tray. So I don't want to drop them or lose the order. It's, you know, as much character and personality as these guys have, it's pretty clear why GW decided they needed an upgrade. Because if you're going for a larger scale rank and file game, as Warhammer was heading towards, having these guys in big units just wasn't really that much fun, apparently. If you had a unit of 12, you could probably get away with it, but once it started getting up to 20, not so much. Another unit of warriors, this one with 2 hand weapons each. I should mention each of the character models, the unit champions, has a medal champion. To be honest, most of these came with boxes of stuff I got off eBay, so I'm not entirely sure where they're from. I think a few of them may be avatars of war, and perhaps a couple of official GW ones in there as well. Another unit, 2 hand weapons apiece, or is this one? Oh, it's got a mix of hand weapons and shields, so hand weapon and shield here. Just to be different, more warriors. These guys appear to have 2 hand weapons. I think this gentleman's from Avatars of War. Again, he's a big chunk of metal. Then have a pair of Chaos Chariots. One of the older style and one of the new style, who's a shorter crew member for the time being. That's okay, I can run it as is. And add something when I can find it. And I managed to put together 2 blocks of 8 knights apiece with full command as well. So the horses, because they were getting a coating of dark tone, these were just given a quick paint down with greys. So hopefully that sort of blends with the army without looking too visible. Doesn't contrast, you know what I mean. Then we have Crom the Conqueror to lead the force, and I won't make you sit through all of these, but I've got 56 wolves to be used as Chaos Warhounds. These guys were they'd all been painted about 3 times before I got hold of them mostly, so I just gave them a zenithal pre-shade with white, then used contrasts on them, so I think they got in order Apothecary white over the top 3/4 of the model, then Basilicanum grey over the top maybe half of the model, just feathered down so that there wasn't a straight line or anything inorganic on the way it had blended in. Then I just painted down the back with a strip of whatever the black contrast paint is, and then feathered that back in. Then it was just a case of picking out the tongues and teeth, and I think I might have given a spot wash to a few of them. Anyhow, they're there to distract shooting units, so that's that. Once everything is organised, I do have an Archaon model to paint up to lead the force. I didn't want to do him at the moment because 1, I was speed painting an entire army, and 2, I've got the overriding urge to put a horn on his horse and paint him as a rainbow magical unicorn. So I think I may have some unresolved issues from the end times, but I thought I'd give it a bit of time before I actually approach this paint job, just to see what I did want to do with him. So I'll put a thumbnail photo on the video so you can see the army as it stands. I think it was about 350 miniatures, and I think I'm a magic banner short of a 5,000 point army here for 6th edition when I added it up. Anyhow, that's been my work for the month. I hope everybody's doing well. Hope your projects are going well and you're keeping well. Look after yourselves and each other. Cheers.